Welcome to Times Media and the St. Cloud Times editorial board endorsement interviews for the 2008 elections. The editorial board is the voice behind the Times Our-View, which appears daily on the opinion page and website. Board members are conducting this and other interviews involving races and issues on your 2008 Election Day ballot. Board members are Times Media publisher and president Bill Albrecht, executive editor John Bodette, opinion page editor Randy Krebs, community representative Dory Larison, and Times building manager Mark Hessler. The board has neither say nor involvement in directing Times news coverage. Similarly, Times reporters are not involved in this endorsement process.
Our final long answer question.
1, 2, 3, 4 again.
All right. What's your solution specifically to overcoming the partisan divide seen these days in St. Paul?
I'm first.
Yep.
Well, I don't know what the solution is. I know that myself, I'm the type of person that can work together well with others. I believe that that's what we need. We need to not be digging our heels in on the far left and the far right. We need to have moderate representation. We need to have people who are statesmen their goal is making the state a better place. Their goals need to be doing something about healthcare. Healthcare is a big problem. Education, we have major problems facing the state, and I believe that we need to elect people that are going to go down there and not support an ideology, but they're going to go down there and work together. Myself, I'm a Democrat, but I'm pro-life and I'm pro-Second Amendment. I'm not dictated by the Democrats that I have to follow their entire platform. I'm an open-minded person who wants to make things better. I've been involved in my community for 30 years. I want to take it to the next level, and I want to make my world a better place, like I've always done. I believe those are the types of people we need to elect. People who want to go down to St. Paul and put their partisan things aside and work together as statesmen, because the goals should be the same. Everybody wants Minnesota to prosper. Everybody wants our children to get a good education. Everybody wants health care to be affordable. We need to learn ways that we can work together and get that done.
Okay. Dan.
There's always going to be some measure because of the polarization of the ideologies. You've got pro-life, you've got pro-choice, you've got anti-guns, you've got pro-Second Amendment, you've got people that carry these things very close to the core. And so there's always going to be that. But I believe there is the ability to go down there to learn who people are on a personal basis, and I think that's one of the things that unfortunately under Marty's bill for the campaign finance reform was taken away from the legislature. So when you go down there and you're in a social arena, people really can't get together as you Democrats and Republicans because the lobbyists are forbidden from putting anything on. So typically you got the Republicans going out with the Republicans, Democrats going out with the Democrats. And I've been in a few of the functions where we've had intermixing, and it really does facilitate getting to know the individuals, discussing those things outside the political arena, and trying to get into the other person's head on what really is the reason that they're backing that particular issue. Now, I work across the aisles effectively. I worked with the Freedom to Breathe Act with Tom Huntley, which was a major reform for our Health and Human Services side. I think for the state it's a very big plus. To me, it was one of the key mark legislations. I also work with Representative Hawes on veterans issues. And so there are issues that we as Republicans and Democrats agree on and move forward together in, and it's not necessarily partisan. But to say that you can abolish that, that ideology in any way, I think is a pipe dream, because you have people who run for office for particular reasons, and they hold those particular reasons close to the core, and I think that's the difference between a politician and a statesman. You believe something, and you are willing to negotiate, but you're not willing to compromise your core values, and that's what I believe I do as I go down to represent the people of District 14A.
Okay, then we're to Larry. Is that Larry?
I think my work in the legislature has shown that I've approached my job and representing my constituents in a nonpartisan manner. That has been something that's been very important to me, and I think you can see that in the multitude to the different legislation that I passed, ranging from public safety to our health and human services sector and nursing home funding. There's a few things, though, that we have to address. First, I want to say I think I've been successful in being bipartisan when the minority leader just a couple of weeks ago of your caucus said I was a nice guy and that he liked me. And that's on the internet, and I can show you that. So, but what we need to do is a few things. One is we need to demand more of ourselves and of our colleagues. First, we need to demand more out of our colleagues by making sure that the information presented to the public is as full of truth as possible and not half-truths and skewed for partisan reasons. Secondly, we need to demand more from ourselves as legislators by trying to educate our colleagues about the challenges and the needs that our specific districts face. We should do something like an adopt a legislator, where I adopt the urban legislator and I bring them out onto the farm and they have to talk to the constituents about their challenges and the needs that we have in rural Minnesota. That's something that can hopefully get beyond those divides. The last thing we need to do is reform the process. And I have introduced several pieces of legislation, which I'm happy that the chair of the Government Reform Committee, Gene Pawlowski, has taken up and is going to be pursuing by making sure that there's guaranteed hearings for some legislators' bills. That if you prioritize a bill as a legislator, that you get a guaranteed hearing in front of the committee and that you're not denied that right for partisan reasons. Hopefully that can bring some more collaboration and the ability for people to work together. I have about another half dozen bills that I don't have time to talk about on the reform aspect, but we need to demand more out of ourselves, out of our colleagues, and make sure that we address the issues with honesty and openness and not on partisan grounds.
And Jim.
The reality is it comes down to the state needing to determine what its priorities are and what its goals should be. I've been in sales for 17 years and I have a persuasive personality. I don't compromise my values. As Mr. Severson said, I have a set of core values. I believe, I represent the district well with those values. So I believe that we need to find the common goal, then we find the solution to the goal. When you have the solution and you can lay it out and you can show the benefits of this is why this is a good bill, this is why this solution makes sense, this is what it's going to help to do, the people will come together. I mean, when something's good, it's good. And the partisan comes into nobody wanting to give an inch because they don't want to have to, play it on the news. They want to stand up for, I don't know how to explain it. They're fighting for, they're politically grandstanding. As a viewer, as a common person watching the TV the last 3, 4, 5 years, there's been a tremendous amount of political grandstanding. You have to get through that and work on the goals. You find the solutions, you find the benefits, and you move the legislation forward.
Okay.